comrades fighting for freedom, sovereignty, and true independence, it is a great pleasure on this day, December 31st, which marks the end of the year 2024, to speak and give you a summary of the year 2024 and also the outlook for the year 2025. But first of all, allow me to give thanks to God, who covers Burkina Faso with his benevolent care and allows us to remain standing. I therefore pay a living tribute to all our fighting forces who battle day and night, even to the ultimate sacrifice for our homeland to remain and not perish. I wish a speedy recovery to all those who were injured in this barbarity, and I pray to God for the repose of the souls of all those who have fallen in this battle. I would also like to pay tribute to the brave Burkinabe people, both inside and outside the country, who continue to contribute massively so that we can conduct this war and also embark on our real development. The year 2024 was full of challenges. On the battlefield, the enemy tried to regain the strategic initiative to prevent us from reaching our goals. But thanks to our brave and resilient fighting forces, we were able to stay the course and always maintain the initiative. Today more than ever, we are launching offensives and going where we wish to carry out actions, and we are tracking these criminals to their last hiding place. This was made possible by momentum initiated since 2023 and which continues today. Notably, it concerns the equipment of our combat forces, a logistical means, a maneuver means, and a firepower means. And we will continue to increase this throughout the year 2025 so that the army we dream of can become a reality and protect our homeland for years, decades to come. We will continue recruitment, as was the case in 2024. For this year alone, we recruited within the National Armed Forces alone more than 15,000 men who are still in training centers and who will therefore strengthen the ranks of the combat forces during the year 2025. We will also continue the training intensively in collaboration with all the friends of Burkina Faso so that we can have the army we desire. In terms of network expansion in the territory, several units have been established with an army that is the Rapid Intervention Special Brigade, and we continue to strengthen the capacity of all the armies to face the current threat and future threats. In this sense, there will be the creation of at least 5 rapid intervention battalions during the year 2025 that will be placed in strategic areas and also at the level of the army. We will see the creation of a Sahel expeditionary group, all this with the objective of being able to fortify the battlefields and to reconquer the entirety of our territory. At the level of the security forces, the readjustment will continue strategically, and we want these forces to adapt intelligently and with great flexibility to reclaim the territory in order to fill the gaps and corridors that these criminals could use to infiltrate. We will therefore continue our efforts with the support of the people to upgrade all our fighting forces and to be able to secure and reclaim our entire territory. And to do this, road infrastructure is very important to support the reconquest of the territory. Throughout the year 2024, several projects were launched, including road construction in our cities and rural areas. In this regard as well, the Faso Mnavu initiative was created, which should ultimately be able to equip each region with a road construction brigade. The equipment for the first brigades is already on the way, and in a few days they will be operational and must begin working for the benefit of our combat forces, for their mobility on the battlefields, and also to equip certain areas that currently have no roads with good roads so they can communicate. Who talks about roads also talks about the distribution of our products. In this sense, we have intensified our agricultural production this year, 2024. The results are very satisfactory, and we thank God who has allowed us to have very good rainfall across the entire national territory. The production has been exceptional, and we will continue in this direction. Several crops have been introduced, different crops such as cocoa, coffee, avocado, wheat, many others that should allow us to more or less stop imports in Burkina Faso, and also to process these materials and sell them abroad to bring foreign currency into our country. All this contributes to the development of our homeland, which we are gradually beginning. On the livestock front, several projects were carried out during the year 2024, notably the renewal of the chateau through several initiatives. We are also setting up a system for feeding livestock and fish. Several vaccination campaigns took place, free in some places and subsidized in others. We will continue our efforts in favor of the farming community through inputs and all the mechanization that must follow to support them, produce, and reach our goal of food self-sufficiency, and why not export our surpluses. In this sense, many industries will be established to process our raw materials locally. 2024 was a year when we were able to inaugurate a few factories in this regard, but many more factories are to be inaugurated in 2025, some of which you attended the groundbreaking ceremony, but also others where the groundbreaking was not communicated. We will continue in this direction to be able to process our raw materials on site for the benefit of Burkina Faso and export the products processed locally. It is in this way that we can drive our economy internally, avoid food imports for the benefit of the population. On the economic front, a lot of efforts have been made, and I would like to congratulate all the actors who have allowed Burkina Faso to keep its head held high in the face of adversity. We will therefore continue our effort in this direction, and many funds have been adjusted to take into account the aspirations of the youth. Recently, the National Agency for Inclusive Finance was created, and the goal is to be able to grant the youth and to be able to follow their activities. The Ministry of Youth has been instructed to create structures that will monitor the projects that the youth will undertake and that can be funded through the bodies we have established. During the first pledge of the year 2025, we will do everything to accelerate the implementation of these structures, because it is not just about giving a loan to a young person and leaving them on their own. We want to give the loan and follow the execution of the project for which the loan was taken, so that it benefits them and other Burkinabe and creates jobs. We will continue efforts in the field of economy and trade so that our youth can fully thrive with the resources of their country. In the mining sector, we have taken back control of our natural resources. Metals like gold, silver, copper, and others must be exploited by the Burkinabes. We are gradually discovering the national expertise that allows us to exploit these resources locally for the happiness of the Burkinabe people. Thus, we encourage semi-mechanized operations, and very soon, industrial mines must emerge by Burkinabe and for Burkina Faso. We put everything in place to harness this local expertise for the benefit of our homeland. In the field of the environment, several projects will emerge. We are planning to create in each province a grove that should include medicinal plants and herbs, which can be used by our traditional healers and even by researchers. The Institute of Research in Health Sciences has proven itself with our local plants. This institute, by the way, I have instructed for a list to be made of all the equipment they need to increase their capacity and exploit our potential in plants and herbs to substitute some imported medicines. We will continue in this direction so that we can treat ourselves through our plants, and therefore the Ministry of Environment is making every effort for this project to be realized in the year 2025. Other large-scale greening projects, or tree planting through institutions and all structures that can be designated, will take place so that we can green our environment, take care of it, and fully benefit Burkina Faso. This will therefore enhance the healthcare infrastructure. We are making significant efforts to ensure the success of the technical capacity of various health centers and hospitals. The allocations took place in 2024, particularly in terms of medical equipment, but also
The year 2025 will see the emergence of new medical equipment and especially health centers through the health initiative. Health infrastructures will be built in several municipalities because we want to transform our social promotion health centers into community centers. They must therefore have a well-equipped technical platform, a laboratory, and imaging facilities to be close to medical centers with surgical units. The goal is to bring rural populations closer to primary health care and to facilitate a number of things in this area. Speaking of education, several reforms have been initiated, perhaps slow for some, but we must go slowly and surely because the educational system we are in is deeply focused on a system that trains more graduates and not people capable of working and producing wealth. Unfortunately, that is the observation, but we are hard at work. First, to change school infrastructures and adapt and modernize them. Secondly, the curriculum and instruction program must be changed. Little by little, we want to shift from general education to technical and vocational education. This transformation is underway, and it will take a little time for us to reach the standard we desire. All sectors will be addressed in the field of education, and that's why the initiative for quality education for all was created. And already the first stones of the modern centers we desire have been laid, and constructions will continue throughout the year 2025. Comrade, in the field of administration, as you witnessed the recent trial for embezzlement in our administration, it shows how our administration is not in line with current aspirations. Procedures are outdated, that is why many measures are being taken for this administration to become functional again, as we wish. The CRD was established in this regard, and we will work so that in the month of January it becomes operational and citizens can report cases of misconduct and malfunctions in our administration. We will continue in this logic to be able to rectify, but also to invite digitalization into the administration to effectively combat corruption, because as long as the procedures are not digitized, the processing times for files will always be long and corruption will creep in. The public service is therefore instructed to change the pace, to integrate a certain number of jobs so that some people who were on contract within the administration can be effectively integrated and have a career plan. We will continue many reforms in this area until our administration is what the people wish for. In the field of justice, many reforms have already taken place, and we will continue in 2025. Continued courts will have to emerge, and in these continued courts, a new type of justice auditors will be recruited to operate them. This is to take into account our ambiguous values in conflict resolution, to have a restorative justice and not just a punitive justice. In the sense, by considering our ambiguous values and involving our traditional and religious leaders with our own values, we will be able to transform our justice system, bringing it closer to the litigant. These reforms will continue throughout the year 2025, and we aim to achieve our goal before the end of the year. In the field of territorial administration, as announced by the Prime Minister in his general policy speech, a redrawing of the territory is necessary, considering a number of aspects that are indeed superficial, but above all, strategic and economic. This will be proposed in 2025. Decentralization, which is today in practice, however, they are struggling with implementation. A study is currently underway at the level of the entire BF and CAPS. The results of this study, which are expected in the coming days, should allow us to make an in-depth diagnosis of the decentralization process. In this sense, a certain number of funds have been suspended pending these studies to be able to re-articulate and give new missions to local government authorities. In the field of urbanization, during the year 2025. After a study conducted in 2024, choices will be offered to the Burkinabe population to redesign our cities. When these choices are presented, we hope to have an outcome that will allow us to redefine our cities and implement urban planning that meets current standards. This momentum will continue in 2025, and the Faso Mebo initiative will also contribute to this urbanization momentum. In the field of sports, this is the place for me to congratulate all the young athletes, because 2024 was a sporting year. Many athletes returned to Burkina Faso with medals and raised high the flag of Burkina Faso. I congratulate them and encourage them to continue with this momentum so that in 2025 we have even more medals and the flag of Burkina Faso continues to fly everywhere in the world. It contributes to enhancing the image of Burkina Faso abroad. In the field of diplomacy, there is this support from the sports community that is already there. But our diplomats have been hard at work since the years 2023 and 2024 in an aggressive diplomacy. We will continue in this direction in 2025 so that the image of Burkina Faso, which shines throughout the world, can continue to grow. And through this, we are in a confederation of the Sahel States Alliance. Several actions are currently underway to be able to structure this alliance.
Cette alliance est l'asseoir parce que c'est le début d'une union dans la souveraineté, dans la liberté totale pour que l'Afrique puisse prendre un exemple sur cette alliance et pouvoir rayonner. L'alliance n'est pas uniquement que pour les 3 pays, l'alliance appartient à tous les Africains désireux de souveraineté, d'indépendance et de liberté totale. Nous poursuivrons notre démarche pour qu'elle soit une union forte dans tous les domaines cités, que ce soit de la diplomatie, de la défense et de la sécurité et surtout du développement. Notre diplomatie rayonne et nous poursuivrons notre démarche pour qu'elle puisse encore être forte et les représentations du Burkina Faso à l'extérieur puissent prendre en compte notre diaspora et aussi prendre en compte tous les amis du Burkina Faso qui souhaitent visiter le Burkina Faso, participer au développement du Burkina Faso. C'est dans ce sens que nous serons un exemple de souveraineté, un exemple de dignité et une fierté à travers l'Afrique et à travers tout le monde entier. L'Institut des peuples noirs devra être un tremplin pour pouvoir attirer au Burkina Faso tous les Noirs du monde entier pour pouvoir se ressourcer, revoir les cultures et pouvoir apprendre de nos cultures, les moderniser pour faire développer notre patrie. Un bâtiment sera érigé donc au niveau du musée pour prendre en compte un certain nombre de choses de notre culture pour que l'Institut puisse se baser sur ces valeurs-là et enseigner au monde entier ce que c'est que le peuple noir, ce que c'est que l'Afrique. Je souhaite que 2025 soit une année donc de parfaite santé, de succès, de prospérité, de victoire pour notre peuple. La patrie ou la mort, nous vaincrons. Cette alliance